The Match Ball.
Hello there, you all right? Dan here with Michael and Rob as we do the match ball for the old 1-0 against Stoke City tonight. The show is brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will do a 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. A range of services, all of which Michael knows very well off the top of your head, don't you?
I do. Your wills, probate, conveyancing, your licensing, your medical negligence,
Your commercial dispute resolution.
Your property dispute resolution, all those things. Good.
If only they had a website where they listed all these things so you can investigate yourself. 10% discount, yeah.
levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball.
There we go then. Another 3 points on the board. And I was kind of caught then when I was walking back down to the studio after the game by two kind of opposing, are they contradictory thoughts? I don't know. Number one was, I really didn't enjoy myself and much tonight and can think of things I'd rather be doing, but I was also caught by the thought there's nowhere else I'd rather be, if you know what I mean.
Rob said exactly that, more or less, when we bumped into each other walking back, and he said, I quite enjoyed a good sort of stressful night at Ellen Road.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've had a real, oh God, is this going to happen or not? But
there was the Leicester game.
Yeah, but that ended in joy, so it was fine. Whereas
okay.
This was kind of the reverse. But yeah, I don't know, it feels like one of those wins that you want to get promoted, you need to have kind of nights like they're not all going to be glamorous, and we dug it out, didn't we?
Yeah, we've had loads of games like that this season, but tonight felt just a bit different. Didn't quite have the same pizzazz about us, did we? We looked a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I think if we can go in 2 up at half time, which I instinctively feel we probably should, then the second half is probably quite different. But the second half started and they were on the front foot, and it felt like we didn't quite ever get a grip of it, and there were loads of subs in that half too, which meant there just seems to be an awful lot of chaos introduced, because it was, did they make 5 changes, I think? And then we made quite a few as well, and it was like, who's playing where now exactly? What formation is against which formation? They, for some reason, were getting loads of space down our left all of a sudden, having not done that in the first half. The whole thing was a stressful business.
I kind of felt like them making a load of subs helped us. It was almost like that Huddersfield first half, again, where it was just the game kind of stopped and was broken up, and because for the first, 25 minutes of the second half, it seemed to be they just had all the ball, which was worrying.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird how we went from looking so comfortable for large portions of the first half to being under the cosh for probably half an hour. A good half hour of that second half felt very uncomfortable.
Maybe it's just that because we didn't quite cement that lead, as you were saying there, like Leeds just mentioned in the comments on YouTube. Live on YouTube for TSB Plus members, hello. 15 chances in the first half, but what happened to the second half? Midfield, question mark, credits to Stoke. Yeah, I mean, they're one of the teams actually that set about us a little bit and tries to get us playing on the back foot, which is not necessarily what we expected. But most teams have kind of suffered for it. But that said, we still had chances, didn't we? We still had a lot of space to play in and to attack in that second half when the chances did come.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will say they didn't. Their best chance probably was more or less the last kick of the game, wasn't it? That one where it was edge of the box and he doesn't properly. I mean, Andy Hinchcliffe probably would have approved of it because he was trying to just pass it into the net. But if he'd hit it hard and high, that'd have gone into the top corner, and we'd be looking at a 1-1 there. But I don't think they created a huge amount of chances. Other than that, there were lots of nervy bits where you were like, "Oh, they're getting in. They're sort of behind us here," and then they'd cross it. But we
actually regained shape quite well.
We'd kind of deal with it, and it just was not very nice to watch.
Yeah, part of me thinks that is just sometimes how football works, where if you have a narrow lead, it is nervy. And then, it was the away game. Did we draw that or did we lose that? But that was...
We lost at Stoke because Bamford missed the pen and then they went on and won.
But that was a difficult game and kind of reminded me a bit of the Plymouth home game, which was under Schumacher, where they got a goal back in the second half and it was a bit of a nervy end to that. And also, we've had a busy schedule and stuff, and we've won a game where we have looked a little bit lethargic in that second half, and that's hopefully a good sign.
I put it down to nothing more than nerves, as you say there, Rob. Like it looked like a team who were 1-0 up and starting to feel a little bit of the pressure, particularly off the back of that the weekend. Do you think the weekend had a little bit of influence on the general feeling around Ellen Road tonight?
Maybe. There was a bit around 65 minutes where I think Rutter lost the ball, and there was definitely a bit where, it's weird how collectively these things happen, but everyone went, fucking hell! Just kind of all at once, having been like more or less all right with us turning over possession a bit. It's just one thing happens and everyone collectively loses their minds a little bit. I don't know about the stuff in Abbott at Huddersfield. I suppose you look back at these little patches of games at the end of the season, don't you? And you either go, oh, we did that difficult week when we had to go to Huddersfield and then Stoke, and we actually came through with 4 points, which looking back was good. Or we go on and lose the next two and go, the signs were there, weren't they? The form was slipping. We were definitely not playing as well.
I suppose what a win tonight does is it allows you to reset and you say, well, we got the drop points at Huddersfield out of the system, and you use it as a platform to build from again, don't you? That's the thing that you hope comes out of this, as you're just saying. Yeah, like, or is this the point at which the wheels come off? But it doesn't feel like that. We just need to get back in our stride, I think, a little bit. It reminded me a little bit tonight of like when a golfer gets the yips and, you know, the swing just starts to go off a little bit.
Yeah. There were a few opportunities wasted, weren't there, which I'm trying to think of them now. James had one, didn't he?
Joseph had one off the line in the second half.
Yeah, I didn't see that very well because it's far end from me. But yeah, he did very well.
The one off the line was it was good. It was a good move.
He did really well to Joseph, I thought, when he came on. He caused him a lot of problems. So more of that.
Yeah,
that was good.
I felt like there was a lot of moaning about Pirro, and I actually thought he did all right.
No, he did all right, Pirro.
Dropped back. He was getting stuck in. He played a few nice passes. I thought those two changes made a difference, actually.
I think people are maybe judging Pirro a bit on past crimes, where he's come on and not necessarily affected games much. But I actually thought it was good today, and I thought it was probably a decent idea because Rutter kept losing possession. He was just trying to do a little bit too much, and it was gifting them it back a bit more. Which when you need a bit of magic, it's kind of more worthwhile keeping Rutter on. But when you've already got a lead and you're trying to see it out,
he was guilty of of overcooking it, wasn't he, tonight?
Yeah, maybe bring a grown up on for a little bit, or Archie Gray.
Did you see Georgie when he was subbed off where he went?
No,
he just went and laid in front of the dugout. It was great. He looked like the most relaxed man in Ellen Road. And then when Somerville went off, he just went and joined him. They were just chilling out at the front of the dugout, and I thought, fair play, lads, because I do not feel that relaxed right now.
Yeah. Well, that's the sign of a confident squad, isn't it? Even if the game's not going entirely in your favour, as we've seen it go so much recently for Leeds, that they've still got that like inherent confidence. Because I'm not saying I didn't have the confidence. I always felt like we were going to see that one out, but it wasn't much fun, was it?
No,
it was a grind.
I quite enjoyed it at the start, and I quite liked the changes he'd made. And Roberts, I thought in the early stages, I was kind of enjoying the interesting tactical difference with Robertson, because James was going outside and Roberts was actually taking up a spot in the box, and I was thinking,
he was often underlapping, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's like, we're doing something a bit different here. I've not particularly seen that. And then all of a sudden, the second half started, and I just completely lost the plot, and I was just busy shitting my pants for a good 45 minutes.
We did that thing in the first half of they were letting us get the ball out to our wide men, which is something I think they shut down quite a bit in the second half. Because I was thinking, this just doesn't feel like a good tactic, a good way to defend against us. Because people allow us to play it out across the back side to side, and then we go down to the full back and or the winger. And as a rule, people have been cutting that off. They've been pressing the full back recently, and that's when we started to struggle, when we run out of options. But they were letting us do it a little bit, and I think that's why we were having joy in the first half. But they stopped that in the second half, and they started passing it quicker, and our passes just weren't connecting for whatever reason. That they just didn't quite. When we tried, there's that other ball that we tried, which is to play it through the lines into somebody who's in the front line who's just dropped in a little bit, and then they ping it back. Again, that was just not finding the man, or it'd land with Georgie and he just tried a little bit too much. It just wasn't quite clicking. I
was going to say something changed in the second half because, and it might have been something Stoke did, but I wouldn't have known. But there was people were getting on Somerville's back with his defensive work, which wasn't great. But there was a moment in the second half where he went to press and then he turned around and sort of gave Byram and Kamara bollocking because they were just so deep, and it just all got a bit disjointed, and they didn't seem to quite know what everyone was doing.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, because I think he was saying you should be pushing up and pressing your man higher up the pitch, whereas I think most people watching it were thinking you need to get back Somerville because they're getting in down that side a lot and you're stood on the halfway line not doing anything. So I suppose it's who's following instructions.
And there was a few moments where Bamford went to close down centre arse, but they'd pass it around him and he'd turn around and be like, oh, no one else has followed me, so I just look a bit daft now.
Something else they do Leeds, this is we tend to defend the edge of our own area. So if you watch how we defend, so if Somerville's going to get back, he tends not to come out to the man. He'll tend to drop back and cut off the angle between the man and the goal. So it gets everybody a little bit nervous because he looks like he's not going back to aggressively press the ball, but actually we tend not to press there like that out wide. We tend to drop back into shape and do it around the edge of our own area because we're a good counter-attacking side. Because you sense that sort of general frustration rises in the crowd when you see them not tear-assing around trying to get back. But then you realise actually they've fallen into quite a good shape and they've allowed them to have the ball in an area that's not dangerous, and maybe they end up getting forced back. I think it's something they actually do quite well, but it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to watch and experience when it's 1-0 sometimes, when you think we're just letting them have the ball. And they did make a few things in the second half, but they didn't say cut through us that much.
No, Meslier made a couple of fairly standard saves, didn't he? Like, I think he was good tonight in his saves, but I don't think did he make any that you wouldn't expect him to? I'm not sure.
He made a good one from Lewis Baker in the first half, where it was like a long range hit.
Oh yeah, but again, it was sort of down the middle though, wasn't it? So
it was quite Hollywood, but it still needed to be made.
Yeah, it's one that I feel like that's what they all were in. Well, not all Hollywood, but they were all saves that were good. But if any of one of them goes in, you probably go Hinchcliffe on it and say he needs to do better with it. But he did enough of them that you can say overall it was good. Yeah. There was that heart-stopping bit where he dropped across, then caught across, and I was like, just making noises.
There was a moment in the first half as well where he came out for a free kick and then fell over, and I was like, "Oh no, don't do that!"
God, I forgot about that. But yeah,
it went over or something, so it was fine.
Don't fall over.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Interesting comment here from Chris Gray, who's saying, "I feel angry with a win. I think it's just because we have lesser teams coming up and we just struggle, and I don't know why. I think it's just the ebb and flow of the season, isn't it? We've just got to get. Now we're at that point of the season where, and I said this in the office to you today, Michael, when we were in doing propaganda. Today's the first day when I looked towards the end of the season and I thought, yeah, I'm ready to have a break from this now. And I think, but what'll happen is we'll have what Gary Neville would term a mini break.
A retirement.
A mini retirement, yeah, during the international break. And then we reset and hopefully then we can have a good run in. But I looked ahead and I thought, do you know what? 9 weeks' time, this ends, hopefully, and no playoffs to follow. For the first, and I think it's just that creeping sense of nerves, isn't it? That dropping the points at Huddersfield, we showed some weakness for the first time, maybe in 9-10 games, whatever it was, and that I think that carried through a little bit into tonight. That's the sort of general sense I get, or maybe that's just what I'm telling myself. I don't know.
It's difficult as well because it's really, really tight down at the bottom. There's almost you don't want to be playing anyone. Well,
they had a player called Gooch, actually, didn't they?
They did. You don't want to be playing anyone from like 15th down at the moment because they're all fighting to stay up because they can all get pulled into it, and then everyone. I mean, the top four's kind of settled, but there's essentially about 4 teams you want to play at the moment who are stranded nowhere, and everyone else is in for something. Yeah, and that's just the nature of this league, isn't it? That you get stressful, horrible games like this because there's a lot on the line, and everyone realizes.
I think today was the point when I had that realization after quite a tiring couple of days for whatever reason, just thinking. It's going to be like this from now until the end of the season, isn't it? It's two months of increased stress every game,
and it's stressful for everyone because look at Stoke a week ago. We're probably looking at it thinking, well, QPR have got to go to Leicester, they're not going to get anything there. Huddersfield have got Leeds, they're not going to get anything, and then all of a sudden they're stuck in the bottom 3 when they don't particularly look like a bottom 3 side from the bits we've seen of them this year. They don't look brilliant, but they look adequate, I would say.
Look as champo as the rest of it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's how different styles come up against different styles, isn't it? And we seem to struggle against that sort of industrial style of football when you don't know what Stoke are doing in all the other games. Because it made me laugh towards them when their fans were singing, "How shit must you be? It's only 1-0," which sort of shows you the general shape of their season. For whatever reason, they just got a little bit of a foothold in that game tonight. But yeah, they are. They're in the bottom 3.
I mean, speaking of industrial football, I was bemoaning the fact Ben Pearson was coming on, and then by the end of it, it was brilliant. It was like, oh. He was just another Jonathan Hogg, isn't he? He's like their Hogg, and it was lovely to see him get sent off. What was the first booking for? Because Rodon and Roberts were really angry. I think
he kicked a ball away and then started fighting people.
Okay,
right.
He's just a complete
very on brand, isn't it?
He's just a complete wanker.
Yeah, he really is.
He just does that. He's been sent off at Ellen Road before, hasn't he?
Ben Pearson.
I'm sure he has.
He was a little irritant at Preston.
He definitely has been sent off for Preston against us. I'm sure he has.
But yeah, he's always like that whenever we played him.
Yeah, he's just a complete knobhead. Just a bit like Hoggy. Just runs around the pitch, just looking to get booked for the whole match every match.
And that's your character, is it?
Yeah, that's basically like his job. I had a look. He's got 13 yellows this season, and a red card now.
Very on brand.
Yeah,
it's pretty solid. Are you trying to find when he was sent off?
No, I'm just looking at. He's got Championship clogger sort of look about him. There's various photos. If you look for a Google image search of him, and you'll find the one on the FA website when he was an under-20 midfielder, rather than the grizzled Championship bastard now, and he looks like he's just stepped out of an indie band in the mid-2000s.
He might have been sent off against us twice, because I've just searched Ben Pearson, red card Leeds Preston. I seem to have found things from 2017 and 2019.
Nice.
Yeah, well, there
Man's
you
a
go.
lunatic. He was in the Scum youth team, so I mean,
It says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
morally dubious. Yeah, he was sent off in 2019, so Bielsa season, 48th minute for bringing down Bamford when through on goal, and then potentially another time as well.
Good insight.
James has just sent his third red card against us.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Let's talk about Dan James, shall we? And
Yes.
his well, was it his goal? I was actually right in line with that. And
That was his goal, wasn't it?
No, it was deflected.
What was it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Somebody stuck out, just trailed the leg. I think it, I mean, don't tell the dubious goals panel because they've just taken Archie Gray's goal off him against Leicester, which was flying in. I think it might have either hit the post or gone slightly wide because I was right behind it. And so yeah, somebody just trailed the leg and it just carried it in.
Yeah, my note for that just says James hits it and it goes in, which I feel like I'm standing on your toes there, Michael. But it's what it needed because it was a nice little sort of 10, 15 minutes of pressure. And you were thinking, just please score, Leeds, don't let this pass. And it was what it needed. Just put your laces through it and it flies in.
Yeah, there'd been the Bamford chance that was well saved as well, hadn't there? I think James did have one save. Bamford had the one where he took it. It was a good shot, actually. Took it very quickly on his left and put it back across goal, but the keeper got down and put it round.
And then Georgie had a headed over.
Yes, he
just
did.
off that corner.
Yeah. He's not
scored.
very good in the air, is he, Ruta?
He's not very good at finishing, is he?
No, not really. But we'll let him off.
That was in the warm-up. I was watching them sort of practice their shots, and Gruev took a couple, and then he just walked away to practice his sprinting. It was like, I'm not going to score. I'll just run around a bit. That's what my job in the team.
Yeah, Kamara looks no closer to scoring either, does he? There are a few chances where people
Shoot!
he's really going to on the edge of the box, and you think he's gonna. No, he's not gonna. He's past it. He's past it.
So we're at that stage of the season now where it's a results business, isn't it?
It
so
is.
I think when we've all sort of settled down from is it stress that I'm feeling more than anything?
Yeah, it's nervy.
Yeah.
He said, I feel like I'll enjoy this more in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
When I can go home and calm down.
Well, I was going to say, Whiskey Amiga is just saying in the comments, you all sound like we lost. No, I think it's just been a stressful evening. It's been stressful.
Yeah.
When you're only 1-0 in front and it feels like it's all on the line and everyone is checking the results. And I got a notification through when Bristol went in front at Ipswich. I was like, and you tell people around you, it's like, Ipswich are losing. So suddenly thinking, it's actually heightened the pressure even more. But then as soon as they were winning, they were drawing. And then there was the whole penalty thing happened where people were leaving the ground and walking down. And sort of that sort of filtered round through the crowd, that the news of them getting the penalty, missing the penalty, which elicited a cheer from the Peacock.
Walked past the Peacock and just had a big cheer, so I assume Bristol City had scored. But never
And
mind.
then I was just looking at my phone and then it was like, 3-2. I'm like, come on, this is not fair.
Yeah, in fact, Bristol, that's a good game to play at the moment. So it don't count that win.
Right.
Because Bristol have got nothing to play for, have they? 13th, 44 points.
Mm.
Too easy.
How did they miss a penalty against their keeper as well? All the shots just go through the Bristol keeper.
Yeah, he didn't try to jump out of the way, but it's hit him. Oh.
But you know,
no,
let's channel Daniel Farker right now. I mean, you do that anyway, Michael. But channel what Farker says and just see where we are. We can only run our own race, can't we?
I was thinking that. I was actually feeling all right about it because I saw, obviously, was checking my phone as everyone was leaving the ground and saw it. It was Davis, in fact, scored, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I did.
He got 2 assists as well. The other 2 goals were him.
I've kind of accepted that whoever goes up this year, it's just fine. I don't know. In the Bielsa years, I felt like it was unfair if we didn't go up. Whereas this year, you just think, well, everyone keeps winning, don't they? It's sort of, you can't really complain. Like whoever goes up, and like Ipswich could well go up, having been beaten very handsomely at Ellen Road. Like they look shit. They look like one of the worst teams we played at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
But it's not how it works, is it?
No, it's just who you come up against on the day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Completely.
So, I mean, I suppose pressure on Southampton now, isn't it?
Well,
After
100%.
all 3 winning today, it just goes to them tomorrow. And
Well, have we not established they're finished? Have we said they're finished?
a few times, I think.
They're unfinished themselves.
The thing is, Ipswich and Leicester are both finished too, but then they seem to be above us.
Yeah.
Who is Southampton playing tomorrow? The Frauds?
They've got Preston.
Okay.
Tough. We're saying tough game. They can shit house it, can't they, Preston? So
Because they need to win. Pressure's huge. Preston go their shit house and kick them.
they're 8 points off second at the moment at Southampton.
Right. That is a long way, isn't it?
So if there is pressure on them.
8 points to make up over 11 games is quite a lot.
Would be.
Whereas
But they'll probably
I
win
think
tomorrow.
2 points to make up over 11 games is easy, and we'll do it. Don't you?
I don't know. We've got a very good chance.
We can't take any of these results in isolation now, can we? Like everything now, we just start thinking about Friday. And Chris is asking, are we nervous for Friday? I'm not now, but I probably will be on Friday. I don't enjoy watching the games on telly as much as being there. At least you can be swept up by the emotion of the ground.
You've hated tonight as well, haven't you?
I haven't actually. Do you know what I thought from like an objective point of view, it was kind of a really interesting clash because we've got it all on the line. They're fighting to stay up. We should have beaten them in the first half. We're clearly better than them. It was an intriguing match, but I'm so emotionally involved in it that I can't enjoy things like that until the end of the season when I go, oh, right, that was an interesting match. Like in the same way that we view the Barnsley game, we can all laugh about the Barnsley game in the Bielsa promotion season. Now it's well out of the way and we know how it turns out.
Yeah, and whatever happens Friday, there's enough ebb and flow about it that we might go down to fourth at some point, then we might go back up to second. You know, I think there's an awful lot of football still to be played.
We're on for a 97-point finish.
Yeah,
at the minute, which is wild. We could out Sheffield Wednesday them last season.
Yeah, of course.
Was it 96 they got? It is nuts. It is completely nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Southampton.
We're well and truly in there.
Southampton are on 2 points per game and are fourth.
Yeah.
So I think Leicester and Ipswich need to grow up.
Ipswich definitely do. They were in League One last year. Calm down, lads. You want to pace yourselves. If you go up now, you can go up too soon.
Yeah.
You can go up far too soon. You give yourself another year.
Look at Sheffield United.
Exactly.
You don't want that to be you.
You don't want that to be you.
Nobody wants that to be them.
Just calm down for a bit. Pace yourselves.
Jim suggests that I hate watching Leeds. I don't hate watching Leeds. I love watching Leeds. Like I said at the start of the show, there's nowhere else I'd rather have been tonight. Doesn't mean I enjoy it every time we play. When there's stuff on the line, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. You get moments of enjoying it, don't you? Between moments of hating it completely.
Well, I know that, watching that Leicester game, the way that finished, and nothing was decided on the night, but it was still that 15, 20 minutes was one of the best periods of watching football in my whole life.
Yeah.
Just because of the way that it turned around and the wildness of it. Tonight, we won, and we won by a goal, and it was, it was probably less nervy than the chances that Leicester had against us, who were cutting through us, because it was like two heavyweight boxers going at it, wasn't it? And it was a different contest tonight, but it was less enjoyable because it felt so within reach, whereas Leicester felt like more kind of a chaos game, could go either way. Whereas that should go to us. So it just frames it differently, and it makes you experience it differently, I think.
Your mind does weird things as well, doesn't it? Because like you say, you can look at this result and go, well, we did probably just about edge it, but we've lost these in the past. Or we've dropped points in the past. So to win it is a real sign of, like, we're unstoppable now.
But it's just self-talk, some of it.
Yeah.
And then the other part of just catastrophizing.
I was going to say, that's what I'm choosing to believe. That's completely my thought process. To be fair, I don't really have any intention of watching that game back because it wasn't a thriller. But I reckon if you were to watch that second half, you'd actually go, it wasn't that bad. It's like you say, they didn't really have any chances.
No. It's like when I watched the Bristol game back when I was at that gig and I knew the result. I quite enjoyed watching that game back, so I was like, we've won this. Just get to watch it through and enjoy the win. But, this 1-0, not as much fun.
Josh was just saying, I don't like this new sound-minded vanilla approach you've adopted. Make wild predictions and shit on everyone else.
Okay. Well, I think we've...
Well, all the other teams are finished. We have said that.
Yeah, they are all finished, but Ipswich have won 5 in a row, which isn't an obvious sign of being finished. On a 6 in a row. Pathetic.
Unsustainable, that is.
Do you want to dig out?
Oh, yeah, that can't go on.
You can't keep that.
Dig out Leif Davis as well. 2 assists, 1 goal. He should know what he should be doing with this, and that's throwing it.
It's very bad, Davis. Very bad. And Leicester, they also don't deserve to win, which obviously I haven't watched. I haven't even looked at the stats. Leicester, just about edged it.
Who was our star player tonight then? Who was your MVP?
Dan James? Joe Rodon, just for heading everything again.
Rodon was good. He really enjoyed the full-time whistle as well. James got the win. It was a weird one because at half-time I thought, I've got quite a few players playing well. I really liked how Roberts and James were linking up. I thought Kamara and Gruev were putting in some big tackles. But then, second half I was a bit like, oh, wait, I've gone from thinking they're all playing all right to thinking who's actually playing well here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the FOTMob, the algorithm-based one, and James was our best player according to that.
Right.
But basically everyone was decent, apart from Somerville and Bamford, who were both under 7. But other than that, everyone was all right. And I didn't think Bamford was bad at all.
I didn't mind him tonight.
I thought Somerville, by his normal standards, was not great.
He was guilty of overcooking it once or twice as well when he was going down the left. But when it works, it's brilliant. But when it doesn't, you get frustrated with it. But I think that's the weird thing is like you come away from it. And actually, there are very few things to complain about. We just perhaps didn't put our foot on their neck, or we didn't, kill them off when we had a chance to. When we did have our foot on their neck, like if we'd got that second goal, I think it takes all the wind out of the sails there, totally and utterly. But when it's 1-0, and then as the clock ticks on, you're trying to preserve that 1-0, which makes you perhaps take fewer risks trying to win the game. You know what I mean? It's just
it was noticeable how we were
going later and later.
We were going long in a way that we don't normally, weren't we, towards the end?
Yeah,
but it was actually what was creating some chances for us as well. Because there was like the late chance as well where Dan James nearly killed a man, didn't he? He shot right in the keeper's face.
In the face?
In his face.
Yeah. That was a very good save, even though
he did. I don't think he knew much about it.
Well, he put himself there, didn't he? He flapped his arms around.
That ball got very big very quickly, I imagine, as it came hurtling towards his eyes.
I once got knocked out by a football under very similar circumstances. Wasn't playing professionally, was just a child at the time, but I got a ball in the face in the field playing with my mates and it knocked me out.
I think you got a soft head.
Yes.
Yeah, big chances, 3-1 in our favour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were looking at statistics of this game, you would say 1-0 is absolutely correct. Just like shaded everything, more or less. 3 big chances there, 1. XG 1.36 to 0.44. Yeah, we were the better team. More possession, more passes, more shots.
And that's the real quiz, isn't it? Boys and girls.
Well, the real quiz is we won.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think we deserve to win. Whereas I'm sure if I look at the stats for Ipswich, they have fluked it yet again. Is that better for whoever asked for it?
That's what we're after.
Yeah, I look at the stats for Ipswich. An XG of -2, and yet they've scored 3. Unbelievable. No, they really deserve to win, did Ipswich?
Hey, Farkas' comments on this are interesting. Most pleasing win of 2024. Very proud of grinding out a win and a clean sheet after a difficult second half. It feels like Leeds against the world, so we need our supporters even more. And obviously he wants to have a cup of tea with the person who sorts the schedule out at the minute. That's Mr. Sky Sports, isn't it?
What's that?
Mr. Sky Sports.
Oh, he sorts out the schedule. Yes,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
He says he recognises that his players were a bit slow waiting for the transition to happen in the second half compared to the first. Yeah, that's it. It must be nerves or whatever, a bit of tiredness in the legs, who knows?
I feel like he says after every game now that's our best win of the season, which is probably indicative of what time of the season we are in, where every win does feel big, I guess.
I feel like sometimes managers say that as well to deflect from a not great performance.
Yeah.
They'll go, actually, everyone else is thinking that was not great, but I loved it.
But he's been here before, hasn't he? He's been around the block with this stuff. So, maybe he's just been a psychological master.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go for that. Let's go for that. There's some I can see in the comments on the screen. There's concern about your hair, Rob.
Oh, really? I do need a haircut.
It's looking more frantic than Firpo facing his own goal.
Loads of people have been saying
I
stuff.
can see it on the screen.
Yeah, I need a haircut.
Maybe is this just now because you're over 30, showing your age? Leeds are
I'm just hanging on to it while I can.
Going to seed.
Absolutely ravaged you. Just tonight. That's just tonight.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
Yeah. So, anything else to add then from that game? Or is it just on to Friday? Just keep going. Next one foot in front of the other.
I liked Archie Gray coming on and making a big tackle immediately.
That just started to swing the game back in our favour, those late subs, didn't it, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Joseph really did make a difference as well.
Yeah.
Stretched him and got him behind a few times. And I'd like to see his run again, actually, for when he did go through on goal, because I thought he did very well to work that.
Yeah.
Even if the finish was... Was it the keeper saved it, or was it off the line?
Keeper saved it, and then he went for the follow-up, but it went wide, didn't it? It ran wide.
Right. It's far ends me. I can't see a bloody thing.
Yeah. But definitely. I think he came in and he did a bit of what Bamford does, which is to be disruptive. Bit of physicality in there, which perhaps we were lacking a little bit. Yeah, he went and put himself about, didn't he? And I said that running in behind is helpful.
It's nice to have another Bamford-ish option, because we've not had one for ever. Ever since we've had Bamford, in fact. I know.
We're not allowed a second one.
No, I know there was an attempt with Jean-Kevin Augustin, wasn't there? Or Eddie Nketiah, or other people along the way to buy another striker, but no one's quite slotted in. And even as frustrating as Bamford has been at various points, we do seem to be better with him in the team. So
yeah.
it's nice to have someone else we can sling on for a bit.
Yes. Decent crowd as well. Stoke were decent singers as well, which was nice. We've had a lot of passive fans that have just come and not sung at all. Give it a bit of stick.
I can't really hear him that well from where I am. But
Are you blind and deaf? I can't see anything at the far end, Margaret. Where's my glasses? Oh, it's so loud over there, I think. I can't really hear them.
Well, I heard bits. But they were singing some Town Full of Something at one point. I couldn't tell what it was. I'm sure it wasn't anything good.
It was nonsense.
Yeah, I think it was the go-to football insult that.
Fair enough. Well, do you know what I think Stoke is?
Right.
Also full of nonsense.
Right.
So
there you go. There's your controversial.
So there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's 1-1. Zinger.
Yep.
There you go. All right then.
And I include Port Vale in that because they obviously Moscow's not here, so I've just mentioned that they
Stoke is like 6 towns, isn't it? All in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they stole our place in the Football League, didn't they?
Port Vale did, yeah. We should say, yeah. Right then. We'll get on our merry way because it's getting late. And we've got the weekly show to come, and we will preview the Sheffield Wednesday game.
For God's sake, brush your hair before tomorrow.
I have thought I might grow it, but after tonight, I'm definitely going to get it cut.
Yeah, we'll be back in here. See you in about 12 hours?
I suppose so, yeah.
Super! Thanks for joining us on the stream. Thanks for listening afterwards as well. We roll on, don't we? We roll on. We'll see you soon.
The Match Ball.